Hey guys, welcome to this session, and today we're going to be talking about the different types of high school debate. So this video is going to be targeted towards middle schoolers or even high schoolers who are interested into high school debate or wanting to join debate or anything like that. Now, before we start the video, let me just do a quick introduction. So I'm Ethan Benoit, and welcome to my channel. So currently I'm doing a string of high school debate related educational videos. So if that's something you're into, just be a great help to hit the subscribe button down below. And being totally honest, if that's something you're not into, just do me a favor and just subscribe anyways. Just trust me. And also like and comment down below if this video was helpful in any way or if you have any future video ideas. So yeah, let's get started. Now on the screen, you see 4 of the biggest, most popular high school debate types, which is policy, Lincoln Douglas, public forum, and congressional debate. There's also extemporaneous speaking, but that's a little surprise I saved for the end, so I'll get there when it comes. Now, the first 3 are probably what comes to mind when you think of high school debate. When you think of high school debate, you're probably thinking of 2 sides where they're both arguing against each other, and eventually a judge decides that one side will win and one side will lose. Well, congressional debate, it's a bit special, and there's no sides. And while that may be confusing, I'll promise you I'll explain it later on. So first, let's get started with policy debate. So policy debate is the oldest type of debate, and it's a 2v2 debate. So you have a partner. So if you best friends want to come and do debate with you, perfect. Now, policy debate, it's about policies. Yeah, strange. I know, unbelievable. But these policies are called plans, and the affirmative team, which is the pro team, they are supporting or advocating for a plan. And the negative team, well, their job is just to basically say that this plan is the worst plan they have ever heard in their entire life, and you, the judge, should never, ever, ever enact or adopt this plan. And you think I'm exaggerating? Well, I wish I was exaggerating too, but I'm not. In fact, in policy debate, you're going to learn that anything and everything can link to the inevitability of human extinction. Yeah, big, unrealistic, and scary. It doesn't matter if the plan is mowing the lawn or building rockets, the negative team will probably just link it to nuclear war and extinction regardless. So you have that to look forward to. Now, some other considerations of policy is that since it's super old and is the oldest type of debate, it's also grown to be very technical. So there's a lot of debate terms and nerdy terms that you'll find, such as counterplan, theory, critique, topicality, onomatopoeia. Okay, well that last one wasn't really debate related, but you get what I'm saying. There's also a lot of research that goes into policy debate because there's only one topic that the entire nation debates for the entire year. So obviously, if there wasn't any depth of research, you would just be repeating the same debates over and over again. So since this is a broad topic, it's going to be super heavily researched. This means that there's tons of arguments that can arise from it. Policy debate also has the longest rounds out of policy, Lincoln Douglas, and public forum. So you'll need a longer attention span if you're wanting to do this. Now let's go over to the Lincoln Douglas debate. Now, LD, or Lincoln Douglas debate, is a one-on-one debate. So you gotta ditch your friend and leave them in the dust. It's also unlike policy in that its topics are almost always founded based on moral questions and questions of philosophy. So in LD debate, you're gonna be talking about philosophy a whole lot. And there's gonna be questions such as, what should society be? Or why is society like it is now? So some considerations you want to take before doing LD is that, like I said, it is surrounded from philosophy. So you'll want at least some passion for philosophy or interest of any kind. because you'll be talking about morality and ethical justice and etc. And it's an individual debate, so you need to be an independent debater. And Lincoln Douglas still is research heavy and analytical like policy, so you'll still need to have those research qualities to be able to perform well in Lincoln Douglas. Now, a rising concern of Lincoln Douglas is that it's becoming more policy-like. Since this is pretty old too, it goes back all the way to dead old Abraham Lincoln. So, since it's so old, it's grown to be like policy in that it's adopted many of its nerdy debate terms, like counterplay and topicality, not onomatopoeia though. But because it adopted all of these terms, it became really complex. To a novice debater, or maybe even someone who doesn't do debate, it can be pretty intimidating and very confusing. And that's where public forum comes in. So public forum is a 2-on-2 debate style. So if your friend isn't already mad that you ditched them, hopefully you can add them back to the team. Now, public forum is pretty new, and it was created so people can take a chill pill and stop with all the complex, nerdy debate stuff. In fact, they made it so that anyone can judge public forum, making it hence public. So this means your judge could be your science teacher or maybe even your bus driver. And this changes the whole strategy because you can't be using complex research terms anymore. Instead of researching, you have to be more persuasive and you have to articulate your arguments much better. So these are some considerations you want to take when doing public forum. You'll need to have balanced teamwork, and that's an obvious just because you'll be with a partner. And you need to have an appeal to everyday people so they aren't geeked out by your random spree of knowledge. And public forum has a variety of resolutions, which are topics. And so since they update every month, you'll be discussing a lot of topics. And to mention that these topics are related on current events. So it makes sense why they're updated so frequently. Now, let's do a side-by-side comparison of all the debate types. First, we have CX, which is policy, LD for Lincoln Douglas, and PF for public forum. And here you can see the stats of all the debate types, which I'm obviously not going to read out every single one to you. I hope you can read at this point, otherwise that would kind of suck. Why are you joining debate? Anyways, what I'd like to focus and highlight is that policy, even though it does have the longest rounds, PF has the shortest amount of minutes per speaker. So while others you'll be speaking 13 minutes, in PF you'll be speaking a max of 6. And as you do debate, you'll realize that you want all the time you have. So you can make new arguments at your opponent, even if they're throwaway arguments. That means your opponent still has to answer them, and then you could win the round based off that. And so if you are into researching, if you're analytical, and you want to have a partner with you, then probably policy is your way to go. But if you're more independent than analytical, or you don't have a best friend to team up with, LD is the way to go for you then. Or maybe even if you just like philosophy in general, then you would stick to LD. But if you're not into research, you're not analytical, but you are good at arguing, let's say you've done the impossible and actually won a debate against your parents, huge respect to you, by the way, then, maybe public forum is the way for you. Now let's go on to the special one. Congressional debate. Now, congressional debate is a mock legislative assembly competition. If you don't know what those words mean, don't worry, you're fine. So it's basically a model Congress. So you will draft bills, you'll discuss bills, you even have the opportunity to change bills, and then finally you will vote along with everyone else in the chamber or the room. You will vote to see if this bill passes or doesn't pass. And so that's kind of what you would do in a model Congress. And in congressional debate, there's role play. No, not that type of role play. You can put your furry costumes back. This time, you're going to be role playing as senators and representatives. Oh my gosh. Doesn't that sound exciting? I understand if it doesn't. But what does this mean? Well, it means that you have to be respectful and professional, no duh, and you have to follow parliamentary procedure. Now, what in the world is parliamentary procedure? It's all the stuff in the back. So these are all parliamentary notions and you can do in congressional debate. This doesn't mean you have to do them, but this means you have to follow the procedure in which they do happen. Otherwise, you'd be violating parliamentary procedure, and that's points off. So the judge wouldn't rank you high. Speaking of judges, how do you win? Well, like I said, congressional debate's a bit special. It doesn't have two sides where one side will win and one side will lose. Instead, everyone is in the room and just speaking about topics. So the way you win is if you're the most well-spoken and well-researched, and if you follow parliamentary procedure correctly, and the judge sees that, then you'll be ranked high. And usually the top ranked win the round or advance to the next round, depending on the size of the tournament. Now for the surprise at the end, extemporaneous speaking. Now, extemporaneous speaking isn't a debate event, but it is a speech event that can be done in conjunction with other debate events even at the same tournament. And this is because tournaments are often formatted where you can do the debate rounds, and in between rounds, there's also time enough to do a small little speech event like extemporaneous speaking. And this, even though it's small, it's an amazing way to build up your public confidence, improve your speaking skills and writing skills. So what is it? Well, extemporaneous speech is kind of what the name suggests, making a speech on the go without much future preparation. So you only have 30 minutes to make a 7-minute speech. I know, that sounds horrifying, but trust me, after you do it a couple of times, it won't be that bad. So these topics are about current events and oftentimes politics as well. So you need to be knowledgeable and at least have an interest in these things to be good at extemporaneous speaking. So how it goes is you wait in a room with the other speakers who are competing in that event. Then you draw your topics. You have 30 minutes to write the topic. You go to the other room where there's a few judges, 1 to 3, and then you give your 7-minute speech. Doesn't have to be 7 minutes. Could be 4 minutes. No judgment here. And then after that, you get your rankings after they rank the speakers, and you either move on to the next round or you just win and get awards, depending on the size of the tournament, of course. And so this is a great way to And so those and it often follows a template like this, so you're not stranded and you come in with the 30 minutes and you already know what you're doing. So you're not stranded when you get your topic and confused or anything. Now, that's the 4 types of debate and even extemporaneous speech event. So I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.